And now, more Utalk. Now,
Steve here. We're going to give you a little diversion today. We are going to take you behind the scenes. That's right. You're going to meet the newest member of the Utalk crew. You see, we have a crew of people that make this show possible, and we like to feature them from time to time. So today, the newest member, I want you to welcome Piper Manthei as we bring her on.
Hey, Piper.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Great to see you.
You too.
You are new to Utalk, and you are actually beginning something new with us that we haven't had before. I don't want to say it's a new division, but it's a new emphasis, I guess, is the best way to put it. Talk to us, first of all, where are you from?
Well, I've been in California most of my life, or my entire life.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm living in Buena Park right now because it's closest to school. I go to college at Biola University, and my major is design.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Biola University, I think some of the people that catch the show know that I am a Biola alumnus. So when we have a chance to have some new students part of this whole thing, I'm right there. I'm all over it because we're family, right?
Yes.
So you major in design.
Yeah. So my major is art, and then the emphasis is design.
And that's a whole department at Biola, is it not?
Yeah, so we have the art department at Biola, and then there's the different emphases like painting, design. I think they might be adding animation.
Oh, cool.
There's fine art. Yeah, so there's a couple.
Oh, no, quite a few. Unpack design for us. What does that mean?
Well, the major is pretty broad. So it could mean like logo design or branding or page layout, to name a few. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, and you and I have already talked about some fun new things that are going to be coming to our Utalk audience, maybe involving branding, maybe involving logo. I mean,
yeah, some
very cool stuff. I'm really excited. And I got some new stuff to share with it, but we're not going to share it on the show because we've got just this new project that's popping in there. We want to, spoiler alert, okay, guys? Those of you that are in the audience, we've got some cool stuff coming up, but we got to hold on to it first. What's your feeling about online classes, virtual school?
In the beginning, it was kind of disappointing because it was always so fun to be on campus and seeing friends and going to classes, and it's just a whole experience that's part of college. So in the beginning, it was kind of hard and nobody was having a good time. But once we kind of realized that it was going to be a consistency in at least the fall, like this fall, once we changed our mindset, like we were able to get into the rhythm of it and enjoy it more. And I fell into that as well. So being online this last fall was not that bad. I found that I had more time than when I was in person and like going to classes, just because you've got like time in between.
Right.
Like you're not having to run from class to class or figuring out like where you're going to get food or anything like that. So I kind of enjoyed it.
So is it safe to say that you miss the community? You kind of alluded to that. You know, part of the college experience is hanging around at Biola, at the CAF, in the wherever it happens to be. How have you made up for that loss of community, or have you?
Yeah, losing the community was definitely the hardest part because that's so big at Biola. Like you were saying, meals at the CAF or seeing friends on the way as you walk to class. That was a bummer to lose, and it's still saddening through the fall. But you kind of just make it up by just texting your friends now and then, or maybe setting up FaceTime. We also like Netflix party.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just little fun things like that.
What are you passionate about?
Well, as a college student, coffee. But like environment, humanitarian efforts, and like all aspects of design. Like it's always been interesting to me how design affects so much of the consumer market, and like whether it's realized or not, design's like everywhere, and people are so visually motivated and by design. So it can be used to guide customers into making certain decisions or seeing a product and comparing it with another and being like, oh, this one looks like it fits me better.
So how did you get into this? I mean, we're talking about, more than stick figures. We're talking about more than doodling or just kind of casual drawing or whatever. I mean, you just didn't wake up one morning and go, hey, I think I'll do design. Or did you? I don't know.
I mean, it was kind of close to that. So I always knew that, well, not always. Okay. I always loved art. And then it wasn't until high school that I decided that I really wanted to use it or go towards that as a career. So I just had to figure out like what specifically I liked in art, because like as a kid I would just draw all the time or do little doodles on the side and things like that.
Okay,
so,
let me interrupt you for a second then. As a kid, did you like color and coloring books?
Yeah, I liked coloring books.
Did you have a favorite coloring book that you liked, a character or something that you liked to color in?
I don't know. It was kind of long ago. I actually preferred to draw over coloring books. Yeah.
Okay, because see, my next question was going to be, before the world, did you stay in the lines or did you go over the lines? Because that's always a big thing in coloring, right? You got to stay in the lines.
There was this fun technique that I really loved doing where you just take a blank piece of paper and scribble on it, and then you take different colors and color in the different shapes that are in there. And it always comes out different, and they always just look so cool. And sometimes you can see different actual shapes or like animals.
Really? I'll have to try that, occupy myself. When I find myself being bored, hey, I'm going to do it 5%. I'm going to scribble. No, actually, that sounds kind of fascinating. So shapes actually appear and things you hadn't really necessarily planned, but they work.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that happens a lot in design too, actually. Like sometimes something happens that you haven't planned, but it turns out to be way better than your original plan, and you just go with it. And I do that a lot, even in my design abilities and projects.
Now, I'm an author, and there's times when I face writer's block. It's like, I don't care what I do. It's like, mind, help me, work. And nothing's coming out, and I have to go play my drums or do something and then come back to it. Is there such a thing as designer's block?
Oh, yes. Yes. Very
Yeah. How do you deal with that? Okay, you hit the wall, designer block, but you're working on a project, got to get it done. What do you do to release the block?
Sometimes you gotta just sit there and start doing things. Just doesn't matter. Just throw something up there or some sort of shape, or like maybe take a step back and take a break from it for a little while, or like get some inspiration, like look at other artists and what they've done, or if it's if you have a project brief or a client saying something, maybe just go back over what they were talking about and what they were saying.
Okay, interesting. Because I mean, that's a real thing. People don't realize that, I think. You can have a music block. I mean, it's when I find myself like that on the drums, I mean, I just go at it and do a solo or do something. Now, do you have a preference? So much can be done on computer, on a tablet or whatever. Do you have a preference of starting it by kind of doing something by hand? Or for you, is it a combination of using both?
Definitely a combination. And I think like what separates good designers from not like necessarily bad designers, but just maybe inexperienced. Not like sticking solely in technology and in the computer and like digital tools. So like you want to take it out of the computer and like work with physical materials, because you can get something so different there than you just can't get inside the computer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I worked on a project where we listened to John Coltrane's Love Supreme. And
okay, cool.
Had like 10 seconds or less of each movement. And we had to design a poster.
Design a poster for each movement?
Yeah, to design a poster for each movement.
Interesting. Okay.
And how to take things outside of the computer. And so for a couple of my pieces, I would design something and then take it out. And I decided to rip the paper up and then place it back together in different spots and then scan it and put it back into the computer. and did some more effects, and it came out so much cooler and more interesting than if I had done something simply in the computer.
That's very cool. So when you ripped it up, I mean, in my imagination immediately goes to, almost like no plan on it, but you actually purposely, intentionally ripped it in a certain way and then repositioned it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So like straight down, and then the others were kind of sections like this, and then you just zigzag them and move them or like flip them over or something.
Wow, that's cool. What are some of the projects that you've worked on that you just go, yeah, I am so proud of this?
I think one of them, one I did was my second year of college. We had to design and create our own cookbook. And that was like, from start to finish, everything was our own. So I picked an Italian cuisine.
Yes. You definitely fit on the crew. No, I'm just hey, when you're Italian, it comes out and everything. Come on. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, it's an Italian cookbook. I think I saw that in when you sent me some information.
Yeah. And so that was fun because I got to pick everything. So I got to choose like the color palette, the typography, the design style. I also learned how to do like good page layout techniques and how to make books. And then at the end, we got to print it out and have the physical copy. And there's just something so exciting about having your physical design project in your hands and like flipping through it. And that was
that's got to be cool. I mean, that's got to be like that aha experience when you've worked on it, you've seen it on a screen, but you haven't really touched it. And to be able to hold it in your hands. I mean, I think there's still something, as much as we can have audiobooks and we can have digital books and everything else, I think there's still something, at least for me, to be able to hold a book in my hands. I mean, I always love that when one of my books gets published and you see that and you say, oh, this is the all these hours I've spent doing this. Now, I got to go back to something, though. Everything was your own. Did you put your own Italian recipes in there?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, no, I don't think I've actually ever made my own recipes for anything. But
okay.
I found some Italian recipes from two different main large sites. I think one of them was Bon Appetit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so I just compiled those, and I think a couple other dessert recipes. And
nice. Now, have you tried any of the recipes just to see if they were any good?
Unfortunately, no. I have never made one of the recipes in my book. I need to do that.
Okay, I challenge you to do that. Okay. Make an Italian dessert or something. Just do something.
Yeah.
Just for fun. Seriously, just for fun. I mean, it's. I know I love to cook, and some people go, "Why do you like to cook? Just go buy me." No, you got to clean up and all that. Hey, that's part of it. And again, seeing you're putting all these ingredients together as if you're designing a meal, and then you get to enjoy it in a different way. Besides holding it in your hands, you're putting it in your mouth. So that's very cool. Okay, other projects that you're really proud of. I mean, that's awesome to do that from start to finish, and then see the finished product.
Yeah. So another project, a little bit more backstory. The reason that I chose design for my career was because I took these art classes at Pasadena Art Center.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah. And one of them was Design 360. And in there, we had the opportunity to design and create our own product. It could be anything. And we created the logo, advertisements, posters, the product itself, and a storyboard. And then we got to present it to the class. And all of that was really fun and exciting because it was from start to finish, and you did all these different aspects of design, and I just loved all of it.
Oh, that's very cool. Now, tell those of us who are not designers and not, necessarily have studied art, what is a storyboard? I mean, I know we use them in media as well, but I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing?
Yeah, storyboards are big in animation. So when you're writing out, you have your script for the scene, but storyboards show different stills of what's happening. Yeah. It's just maybe it's every 5 or 10 seconds or probably less than that. Like maybe every 2 seconds, you have a little square of the drawing of what's going to be happening in that moment in the scene.
So, and you apply that to designing other things besides animation then?
Yeah. Well, that's
kind of a layout.
Yeah.
You're kind of laying it out in advance in a kind of a sequenced order type of thing. So that's interesting. And I've heard good things about the school in Pasadena. A lot of people go there, and I've heard there's some really great profs and stuff. And I hear the same thing about what's going on at Biola. Just a great program that continues to expand and grow. How does somebody get started? I mean, how did you actually get started in the design? Was it as a high school student then, and you began to do more of it and you said, yes, this is what I want to do? Why Biola?
Well, I just also loved Biola just as a college, and like because of the community and the professors, like they're really actually genuinely care about you, and they were just super inviting, and I felt welcomed and comfortable there, and it was close by to home. And I kind of, everything just fell into place. And they also had a really good art department, and the professors there were really nice. And
I'm glad to hear how you're describing professors at the school, and they welcome you and they really care about you. That's honestly not the case in all schools. I know, because I travel across the country, I travel overseas, and I hear so many varying stories. And I think it makes a huge difference wherever you go to school if you have professors that are investing in you and care about you more than just somebody occupying a seat. So I'm glad to hear that. And I would encourage people in our audience, as you're thinking about a college, those of you that are in that stage of life, make that one of the components, because I think it will make your college experience richer. It will make it more fulfilling. And when things get a little challenging or whatever, you feel like there's people there that can help you. And knowing, and especially the way our world is today, knowing somebody cares. Man, that's super cool. That really is. I'm glad to hear that. How does somebody get involved in doing the kinds of projects you're doing? In fact, let me backtrack just a little. You have referred a couple times to clients. You actually have a business, do you not? In a design business?
Yeah. I'm, what we would call this is just freelancing. So,
okay. Now, do you have a website for your business?
I do, yeah. Okay,
what is that? How do people find it?
It's pipermantheidesign.com.
And Manthei is spelled MANTHEI.
Yes.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage you guys in the audience to check it out. I have been to the website and found some very cool things. And of course, that's part of what I think sparked our interest when we connected. Just cool things that you did. How does somebody get involved in, somebody that's catching the show today, and they're saying, what Piper's doing sounds pretty cool. What's their first step, or what's their first couple of steps to get involved?
I got involved because I had those classes in high school, or those little art summer. And that got me interested in design because I got to see what it was like. But if you don't have those kind of opportunities, you could probably just look up design and look at so much out there. And then I just learned most of what I know from my major and the professors. And
cool. I don't know why this thought, just random thought, comes into my mind. Are there groups, social media groups for designers that you guys kind of get together and, or not necessarily get together, but you're connected and you throw ideas out? Or, is there something like that? Or
yeah, there's plenty of accounts on Instagram that are design accounts, and I follow a couple that will give tips or different design strategies, or just show their own art or something, and I can get inspired from that. And I've learned a couple tips from there as well. So yeah,
cool.
You just find the ones that look interesting to you.
Well, and I mean, it's like music, it's like writing, it's like almost anything, really. You start connecting with these groups and you grab an idea here, one there, you make it your own, or it inspires you to look at something else. How did you get connected with us, with Utalk?
Well, I've been trying to find an internship for a while, and it's been pretty difficult with COVID and everything. So when I saw your opportunity through the art department, I was like, hey, this actually looks really neat. And so I contacted you.
I know the story. I just wanted people in our audience to hear it. And again, this is something brand new for us. And as you and I had initial conversations, it's brand new. There's no script to it. And we love with our interns anyway to say, hey, look, use your creative genius. You know, we don't want to micromanage. We don't want to have you come join the crew to say, you know, here's your to-do list, do this kind of thing. You and I talked about this. We really want you to use that creativeness in you, you know, to help improve what we're doing at Utalk. And you have got some great ideas. I'm excited to see them start to come to fruition, really. And I've got this other new thing, and I can't say anything on air about it, but you and I will talk about it. Was there anything specific that made you want to intern with us, or it just the whole thing kind of sounded cool to you? And
It was kind of the whole thing, but also like you guys just seem like a great group, and you have amazing ideas and efforts to affect change in young adults. And I love that it's like a conversation based, and that was neat. And I wanted to work with that, be a part of that.
Well, you know, thanks. I appreciate the encouragement, really, because that's really who we are. I mean, we're all about Utalk. I think we mentioned this earlier in a conversation we had. Utalk's all about you talking to us, but we care about our audience. We care about young adults. I owe my life to a young adult. I won't take time to tell the story today, but thank you. I mean, what's great is you've picked up on that mission, you know, and that mission you found compelling. So what are some of the specific things you're going to be working on, projects you'll be doing here at Utalk?
Well, I'll be working on revamping the website.
Yes.
Possibly new merch. That'll be exciting.
Yes.
Promotional aspects, new branding, up and coming.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I get motivated and I get, you use the word inspired, which is a cool word. When we've had these conversations and traded emails and things that, you know, new branding, different look to some of our logos, possibly the website. I'm excited about that because there's so much more we could be doing. And the whole idea is to connect with and engage with our audience, with young adults. And I feel like Utalk is very unique. I'm not aware of anything else out there like this. So now, speaking of Utalk and Utalk being unique, you know, we have special emphasis, focuses that we have. You know, one is kind of special features that we do from time to time. And a big one, kind of an overarching one, is Are You Mad? And I know Larissa and Katie would say, yeah, Steve, you're mad, dude, you're gone. But it means, are you making a difference? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out our world is really turned upside down right now. You know, so uncertain. I think you used the phrase the other day when we were talking about you're just so tired of people pointing the finger at each other. And another friend of ours out in the Southwest said, you know, he's not scared, but he's almost fearful in the sense of what kind of world am I going to wake up to tomorrow morning? You know, because everything is changing so rapidly and all. What's one thing that we can do individually to change the world, to make a difference? Each person, I mean, we're at least in this country, we're a divided country, and there's so many factors and so much going on. But if you kind of narrow it down and say, let's just focus on it one-on-one, what is one thing, or maybe you have a couple things that we can all do to make a difference, to change this world?
I know it sounds cheesy to say, but like, be the change you want to see.
No, say that again, seriously, because I want people to kind of chew on that a little bit.
Yeah. So be the change that you want to see.
Who? No, you know what? That is That's huge. That is huge. Really, if we all did that, okay, we're all talking about change. I hear it all the time. I used to be a news junkie. I don't even want to look at my feeds anymore on my phone or my tablet or whatever. I'm just tired of all this stuff. And people are screaming for change, really. I like that. We may have to adopt that into something that we're doing at Utalk, because I think that's huge. And it doesn't, in no way does it sound cheesy. I mean, if you really chew on that and be the change that you want to see. And that starts one person at a time.
Yeah.
We want to see this thing changed. Okay. I'm going to be that change that I want to see. We can all lead the way. And if we all did that, be the change that you want to see. And if everybody did that, if half of everybody did that, it would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
For all of us. Oh, I like that. I like that very much. Well, I am excited about having you on the crew. I can hardly wait to see, how things develop and these creative ideas that are just oozing out of you, in so many different ways. But how can people stay in touch with you on social?
You can just follow my Instagram if you want. It's at pipes121_. It's the one that you tagged me in the promotional post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put that back up again at pipes121_.
Yes.
Awesome. And website again?
The website is pipermantheidesign.com. Yeah.
Cool.
My art Instagram is in my other bio. So
okay.
lead you to that.
So it's people can find it right there then.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining us today on the show. This has been really fun. As much as we've talked and emailed back and forth and text back and forth, I learned a whole bunch of new stuff about you. And I'm going to hold you to the Italian recipe that you're going to try.
I will.
And, maybe I can, Uber eat it to me or something. I don't know, so we can try it. But no, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. We do. I know Katie and Larissa do. And the rest of the crew. And we'll be introducing some other new crew members as, the weeks come out. But thank you for joining us. And everybody, you're going to see the efforts of Piper very soon on our media, which, remember, is at Utalk Radio. So, Piper, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, we are too.
This is Utalk Radio.